Hey everybody, I'm Johan, and I'm back with another story. So, the title of this video is Discomfort Isn't Bad. Discomfort can make you grow. Let's break it down. Oh, subtitle, Why I'm Not Lonely. From a kid, as a kid, I used to love going on adventures into the woods and mountains. Where I was raised, we lived right at the edge of town here in northeast Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania, kind of. And right across the street was the woods. And I was drawn to it and would go for hours, starting about ages 11 and 12. I was always amazed at what I found on these adventures in the woods and climbing rock piles, walking along coal mining roads by myself. During that period, at some point, I got my first mini bike. And I would go on adventures in the woods, on those mountains, on the old coal mining roads by myself. It's not that I didn't have friends. However, at that time, I didn't have friends that were interested in those things. Over the years, I've traveled many different places. And depending on where I was at with my life, the military, riding motorcycles, the years I spent with the Salvation Army as a lay minister, Sunday school teacher, nursing home ministry, I made new friends. New friends that were interested in the same things I was interested in. People that were doing the same things I was doing. And now at 66 years old, I've come full circle again. Doing things by myself. Because, like it was when I was young, I don't have friends in a sense that we're close, we talk every day, because people today are doing other things that I have no interest in. Typically, that have to do with technology, video games, these things. But I've come full circle. It's almost like a monk life. But I'm no monk. I don't claim to be a monk. I'm happy where I'm at. And if someone comes into my life whose interests are the same as mine, walking a spiritual path, riding motorcycles, going out in nature, and we compliment each other, that'll be a friend. As far as relationships go, I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm already complete in my own skin, in my own mind. In that aspect, to have someone, a woman, come into my life that could be a potential relationship, it won't be to complete me. It will be about unity, similar interest. We complement each other, in other words. I made a video a long time ago about relationships. My beard is at what I call the ugly stage. Yeah, I'm going off course a little bit. My beard is at what I call the ugly stage. It just gets to this stage where it does what it wants to do. No, I'm going to not start putting all these oils on or get a hair dryer out and spray. And I'm familiar with my beard. It has an ugly stage. I'm emphasizing this because there was a time I would look in the mirror when my beard was like this and think, what are other people going to think about it? My happiness and joy isn't contingent on what other people think about me. In this aspect, okay? So I use a beard shampoo. I've learned several things about my beard. When I wash it and dry it, I kind of comb it a certain way, and it has to be that way because I know at some point it'll lay down, calm down, so to speak, and then I could kind of style it, except if I'm going through the ugly stage. I need to have patience with my beard, in other words. But getting back to relationships, okay? And this was my experience in 12-step groups. And it's common for people to say, I'm ready for a relationship. There's an unwritten rule in recovery circles that says no relationships for the first year. I get it. Some people should not have relationships at all. But here's what happens. People say I'm ready for a relationship and get into a relationship, and then next thing you know, nothing is going well. Typically, what happens is the man or woman will say, wow, that person's a nutcase, or something like this. When the truth is, the reason people got into those relationships was because they're lonely. They're lonely. And they're in a relationship for a while, and then they're not lonely anymore. Right? The other thing I cited about relationships is if you have a sex addiction or you get into a relationship because you want your sexual desires satisfied, okay? Well, that doesn't always go well after a period of time, especially after your sexual desires are satisfied, okay? So I was talking about coming full circle again back to kind of like the monk life. Not that I'm a monk, okay? This is just how it played out. So what is it about me? What am I about? Here's a question. What are you about? What are you about? I mention in videos quite a bit about having hobbies. Do you have hobbies? I obviously like plants. I have lots of them here in my kitchen. Plants, taking care of them, watering them. I need to clean the leaves on them at some point soon. But it's a hobby of mine. Another hobby of mine is taking care of my dog, interacting with my dog, teaching my dog things, and paying attention to things my dog teaches me. I'm 66. I've had a dog in my life constantly since I was 11 or 12. A lot of things happened when I was 11 or 12, now that we're talking about it. Another hobby of mine, you could call it a hobby. Some people might in the comments say, blasphemy. Another hobby of mine is spirituality. Walking a spiritual path and continuing to learn more and more and more. What I say is what I do. I read a lot. I watch videos. I take things in and process them, sometimes at my own pace or on my own terms. In other words, I don't take things at face value. And I apply what I learned to my life. Which is another hobby, I guess you could say, gathering information, reading books, watching videos. I like documentaries too. Now I'm into this, call it research, about my ancestors. Oh, you mean the Danes, the Vikings? No, way before that. Neanderthals, as a matter of fact, is my interest recently. How they lived, how they functioned, how they thought, how they viewed the world around them. Another hobby of mine is riding motorcycles. I had that first mini bike I mentioned at the beginning of this video, and I would go for hours on these old coal mining roads that could take me 10 miles that way in the mountains on those roads, 10 miles the other way, maybe more, give or take. And then there were roads that would offshoot, and I would go on adventures on them. So I still like to ride motorcycles. Being out in nature is a hobby of mine. Being aware of nature around me. The other day I walked out of my house, so I feed birds. That's another hobby of mine. I have a bird feeder there. I put up 2 bird houses. Birds live in there. So I fill the bird feeder up, but I also throw bird seed on the ground for the ground feeders, like doves. So I walked out of my house to throw some bird seed on the ground, and I heard geese flying over. I pay attention to these things. I pay attention to a lot of things that happen around me. And I was just like, yes, they were flying so low, they were really loud, and I made a quick video about it as it was happening. The bird feeders, I was telling my mom, she's 90 years old and in assisted living, and I show her pictures So you have birds that live in your area all the time, and then you have migrating birds. So I see a bird maybe I didn't see before, and I look it up. What's its name? Where's it migrating from? Where's it migrating to? Things like this. So that's kind of a hobby. Nature's a hobby. I built that sacred grove behind my house in the woods in honor of my ancestors, the Vikings who had sacred groves. And if you watched the video the other day about tomfoolery that I made, I mentioned in there when I was a kid, the old timers built the picnic grove. Remember I said I was raised by the edge of town. There were woods there. They built a picnic grove. Groves. So it's not just my ancestors. It's that experience I had as a kid. So going to this grove and doing things, not now, it's too cold. Today, I don't know, I want to say it's in the 30s and it's raining. That's kind of a hobby of mine. Oh, what's my point? Well, what I do, all these things, isn't based on other people's validation. You know, I mentioned I deactivated my Facebook account a long time ago. When I found out they were manipulating the news feeds based on your searches anywhere on the internet, because they know everything, they would put things in your news feed that were opposite or contrary to what you're interested in to get you upset. And that was enough. I know people say, well, I only have Facebook to keep in contact with my family and friends. I guess I was raised in a different era where we called people on a regular basis, or on holidays, family members and friends from far away would visit us or we would visit them. When I was a kid on a bicycle, we went to our friend's house. Yo, Tommy! Yo! That type of stuff. Yo! So I don't buy it. You know, I got Facebook to stay in touch with people. Oh, anyway, so what I was talking about was I'm not in it for validation. I'm not in it for reporting on Facebook every hour what I'm doing now. Or Facebook isn't something I use as a gauge to find out how other people feel about what I'm about to do next. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think? So getting back to the title, discomfort isn't a bad thing. Discomfort could make you grow. I can tell you from my own experience that that's a true statement. That's a true statement. Also, contingent to that statement, discomfort isn't bad. Discomfort could make you grow. You heard me say this a lot. Who you associate with, who are your friends, who you associate with, who are your friends, has an impact on what you're doing or what you think you're going to do. what you think you're going to do, or just general discussions. Like today, I think it's in the 30s. I just know it's cold. It's damp. It's raining. The other week, it was 5 degrees in the morning, and it was only in the teens for a high. In about 3 or 4 days, it's going to be close to 60. So there's these fluctuating temperatures, which are really unusual. My body likes it when it's warm. Oh, what I was talking about was I used to associate with 1 or 2 people and have conversations with them every day. Now, on a day like today, I don't do things I would do when it's not raining and warmer, but I am still active. But one person I was associating with had a bad attitude, a negative attitude. And on days like this, they would complain about every little thing, how they can't do anything outside, which is a lie, because if you want to do something outside, no matter what the weather is, you'll find a way to do it. Just constantly complaining, constantly whining. Today's a good day to stay in bed. Might be something people say to each other, right? But they don't mean it, literally. If you have somebody that's constantly, I guess we're focused on the weather now. It's too cold. What? Today's too hot. These things. Let me put it to you bluntly. If you're taking the road less traveled, you're active, no matter what, these people will bring you down. That's your decision. I just can't. I won't. I'm unable to associate with these people and keep my balance. Follow my dreams, even if it's just following my dreams for today. I found this coffee that has mushrooms in it. Legal. You know, there's a saying talking about bad weather. You can't appreciate nice weather without bad weather. You can't appreciate sunlight without no sun. You can't appreciate being by yourself unless you appreciate yourself. My guru has a saying that goes like this: if you're not comfortable being alone with yourself, you're in bad company. Discomfort isn't bad. discomfort can help you grow. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. Johan out. Peace.